Hey, all, Baruch Levy, be here from Soul Centered. Thanks for tuning in. Man, it's been a while since I've been on social media. I took a long pause. It's been very good for me to get off of it, just to kind of slow down. I've also really gone inwards during the summer and creating my program, the Defiant Spirit. You like my logo up there? It's the Enneagram, and the Enneagram is an ancient personality assessment, which I'm using now all day, every day to help guide people. So I took the summer to create my own program, the Defiant Spirit, and am now offering it to individuals and especially to organizations, to businesses, because the Enneagram is second to none when it comes to understanding who we are as individuals and as a collective. It could be a family, it could be a couple, it could be an organization, certainly business. It's a roadmap of what I think of as the true you, your true self versus your false self. False self isn't bad. It's the version of you that you present to the world because you're afraid, because you're unconscious, you're on autopilot. It's how we've learned to survive. That's also called a personality, right? A personality is simply comes from the Greek word persona, which means mask. So it's a mask that we wear to navigate a very difficult, challenging world. We need masks. We need the persona, the personality. The important point, though, is to remember it's not who you are, it's what you do. Who you are is, as my teacher, Viktor Frankl, would say, the nous, the spirit, the essence, the truth, the true you, the logos, whatever you want to call it. That's you. And we lose ourselves all day, every day, in relationships, in difficult situations, in fear. At the end of the day, it all comes down to being afraid. And so we put on the mask of these 9 energy types, these 9 personalities. Now, there are many more than 9, but these are 9 fundamental energies. It's not coincidental that in Kabbalah and Jewish mysticism, there are 10, because in the Enneagram, there are 10. All 9 plus the circle is 10. And in lots of systems, 10 is this mystical number. So there are 10 basic ways, in this case, 9 basic ways of showing up in the world. And my work with Frankl, Dr. Viktor Frankl, author of Man's Search for Meaning and my mentor, is that none of these are who you are. You are something much deeper, but we forget that. When we're out in a very challenging world, we put on the masks. We need to remember how to take off the mask. Well, the Enneagram shows us what mask you're putting on and how to take it off. So for instance, my default mask, the way I default in my life is to go to my 8. 8 is the challenger. It's intense, it's big, it's bold. It's also afraid. That's where I go when I'm in fear, when I'm in, as Dr. Frankl would say, reaction. It is not where I go necessarily when I want to respond. Maybe I want to respond more like the helper or the loyalist or the individualist. The Enneagram is not a life sentence, not a prison sentence. You are not a number. You are essence. You are true you. This is a roadmap to help understand how you've lost that, where you've gone, how you've drifted away, and how to get back to that, how to live that so you have access to all of these numbers. Now, in the podcast that I resumed a couple of weeks ago, this most current podcast from yesterday, which you can get in the show notes, in the Facebook notes over there, go to defiantspirit.org and you can listen to the podcast, or you can go to YouTube and get the YouTube version. But what we talk about are superpowers, because that's the starting point for me in my work with the Enneagram. Everybody seems to go to the shadows, the negative, the ick side of the Enneagram first. I hear it all the time. Oh, I was told I'm a 9 because I'm sloth-like. I was told I'm an 8 because I'm an 8-hole. I was told I'm a 2 because I'm needy. Those are shadows, and those exist, but it is not the true you. You are not needy at your essence. That's just where you have learned to go at times, like we all do, as a strategy. But you don't have to live strategically. You don't have to live in survival, in fear. You can become proactive. And so that entails not starting with the shadows or with the false you, but the true you, the light, or as I call it, the superpower. Each one of these types has a distinct, definitive superpower. You have a superpower. I don't mean putting on a cape and putting on tights and flying, no judgment if that's your thing. We support you here, but you don't need to put on a cape. Superpower. I went to a talk last night with by my sister, Rebecca Rosen, who talked a lot about supernatural, super going beyond, natural, what's ordinary. And that's the defiant spirit. We can defy what's ordinary, what's natural, tap into the supernatural. And that entails finding that spark, that energy, that number that is uniquely yours. So in the podcast, I go through all 9 of the superpowers one by one, and it's sort of a big picture understanding of both the Enneagram and also the superpowers of the Enneagram, and how you can stop reacting and start responding to live your defiant spirit, defy your number, and live the spirit in your life. So if you want more, jump over to defiantspirit.org. I have a new program called Defy Your Number. It's not yet ready for individual purchase. I'm using it right now in businesses and organizations. If you're interested, we'd love to talk to you about that. Stay tuned. It will be available for download for individual use. I'm very proud of it. I believe it can be transformative as it has in my life. Thank you for giving me your time. And I look forward to seeing you over at the Defiant Spirit. Until then, defy your number and live your spirit.